Someone Better by I_M_Ellie on AO3. Episode 19, Chapter 17, Sick People Things. When Shouta woke up that morning, Hizashi was still in bed, curled up into a tight ball right at the edge of the mattress and shivering uncontrollably, the blanket tangled up near his feet. When Shota's eyes, fuzzy with sleep in the darkness of the room, reached out a hand to grab his shoulder, the night shirt was soaked through with sweat. Hizashi? Shouta murmured, shaking his shoulder slightly. Hizashi groaned, curling in further on himself. Shouta rolled back over, turning on his bedside lamp. Hizashi was curled up at the very edge of the bed. The legs of his pants were rolled up, as was the hem of his shirt. His hair was damp with sweat, long strands sticking to his neck, and he seemed to be shivering uncontrollably. When Shouta pressed the back of his hand against his forehead, he felt feverish. Hizashi, Shouta said, shaking his shoulder again. Hizashi groaned again, curling in on himself tighter. Hizashi, look at me. Shouta cupped his face, turning his head towards him, and Hizashi sighed before peeling his eyes open, only to wince at the harsh light from the lamp. What's wrong? Cold, Hizashi said, teeth chattering. Shouta frowned. He didn't feel cold. If anything, his face felt hot. Anything else? Shouta asked. Hisashi's eyes slipped closed again, and Shouta snapped his fingers in front of his face again until they opened up. Stay awake for a little while longer, Hizashi. All right? Hizashi nodded. What else is wrong? I feel achy, he admitted. My throat kind of hurts, and, a headache, and I feel like I have to cough. Shouta felt along the side of his neck and hummed. Your lymph nodes are swollen, Shouta stated. I think you have the flu. Nope, Hizashi said. Absolutely not. I'm fine, perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, prime condition, some might say. I feel fantastic. Sure, Shouta said. Well, you're... He glances at the clock. 2 hours late for the office. Might as well stay home. I can't just stay home, Hizashi said, trying to sit up. Once he got into a sitting position, however, his body started to sway, and Shouta helped him lay back down. I think I'll stay home. Probably for the best, Shouta said. He stood up from bed, walking out onto the hallway to the bathroom, where he wet a rag with cold water before running to his bedroom. For your fever, he explained. Hizashi had his glasses on now, though he took them off at the sight of the rag. Probably didn't want them to get wet. Shouta sat at the edge of the bed, pressing the rag against his forehead. A long strand of hair fell in Hisashi's face as he did, and Shouta pushed it aside with a chuff. Your hair is insufferable, Shouta informed him. Absolutely insufferable. You love it, Hizashi said, eyes beginning to fall close. Don't pretend you don't. Shut up. You're sick. You're supposed to do sick people stuff, like complaining and coughing. I don't need to cough. Do it anyways, Shouta said, leaving the rag on Hisashi's head before walking out into the hallway. Izuku was peeking out of his bedroom door, probably trying to be sneaky. His large mess of a hair stuck out too much for that. School time, monkey show? Izuku said. You didn't wake me up. I know, Shouta said. He sighed, crossing his arms. It would seem, Shouta said, your Uncle Sashi has the flu. Izuku frowned. He's sick. He's feeling a bit under the weather, yes, but he'll be okay. We must do something, though, to make sure you don't get the flu and have to take time off of school. Izuku nodded. You'll have to stay the night with your auntie, I think. Izuku frowned. Never slept over at auntie's before. he said, sounding nervous. You'll like it. She'll probably let you do whatever you want. You'll have fun. Shouta said. I will not. Izuku hummed. Okay. Do I need to pack stuff? Probably, Shouta said. There should be a duffel bag in the back of the closet. Pack a spare uniform, shirt, and pants, socks, a pair of pajamas, and a jacket. Oh, and a toy, and a book. Yes. Izuku nodded, running off to do just that. Shouta walked into the kitchen and dragged out a plastic tub filled with random assortments of medicine from the pantry, choosing a bottle of pills from pain and fever and cough syrup before replacing the container into the pantry. Maybe he should put a lock on it. It wouldn't do for Izuku to find it and think all the little white things were breath mints or something. After taking out a dose of medicine from the pill bottle and a cap full of cough syrup, he grabbed a glass of water and checked the fridge. No bento. Maybe he'll give Izuku another Tupperware container of leftovers. Or he could buy him a Happy Meal and hope that they didn't need gas money. No, they had enough leftovers in the fridge for Izuku's lunch. Maybe Shouta could just make a sandwich for himself then. Or eat from a vending machine. Should he even go to work today? His boss was impatient enough with him, as it is. Shouta snapped out of his thoughts when Izuku came barreling into the kitchen, holding a backpack and a duffel bag, respectively. His shirt was unbuttoned, as was his blazer, and his hair was a mess, just like it was every morning. His red sneakers were untied as well. What's for lunch today, Anki? Izuku asked, bouncing in place. Shouta crouched in front of him, buttoning up his shirt and tying his shoes. I can't remember. Shouta muttered, before standing up quickly and pulling a container out of the fridge. Undid. Cold? Izuku asked, incredulously. Shouta shrugged. Find a microwave. I can't make you a bento. I'll burn down our apartment, and then the landlord would come yell at us. Izuku shuddered. He was terrified of the landlord. Don't tell Sashi, he said, handing the container of noodles. He's big on healthy lunches. Yep, Izuku said. If I told him, he'd probably have the... I forgot the word. Cow, Shouta suggested, and Izuku shook his head. Tantrum. Bit. 2 head shakes. I'm intrigued now. Tell me when you figure it out. Okay. Shouta checked his phone. It's gonna be cold. Shouta told the boy. Jacket. No, thank you. Not debatable. Why do I always gotta wear it? Izuku whined, dragging his feet as he went off in search of the dreaded article of clothing. It makes me look fluffy. Not really, Shouta said. More squishy. I'm not a marshmallow, Izuku whined. Not squishy. Of course not, Shouta stated. You're a cabbage. Don't be ridiculous. Exactly, Izuku said triumphantly. Wait, what? Nothing, Shouta said. Hurry up and find your jacket. Izuku ran off again. Shouta shoved the container of uni into the paper bag, along with a little bottle of water and a package of crackers, just in case he lost his uni. Or he was still hungry. Or he wanted a snack after school. Or one of his friends was still hungry. He knew from seeing Izuku's friends at school that Hitoshi and Denki were too skinny, and Ochako's parents were having problems. And from what Izuku told him, Mei sometimes got so distracted by her potato weapons, she forgot to eat. Should he pack more crackers? He poured half the box into a paper bag and closed it with a clip. Izuku ran into the kitchen a moment later, wearing a large, fluffy jacket, and with a displeasant look on his face. Food, Shouta said, handing him the bag. There's also a couple snacks for you and your friends. All right. Thanks, Anki, Izuku said, running off to put the bag in his backpack. Shouta pulled out his phone as he ran away. What? Nemuri snapped as she answered the phone. Sho, this better be good. It's 6 in the morning. I need you to watch Izuku this evening, Shouta said. I have patrol, Nemuri said. You know, my job that I get paid for at the highly competitive agency that is practically impossible to advance in? You know the one. All too well, Shouta said. Hisashi's sick with the flu. If his fever gets worse, I'll have to take him to the clinic. I don't want the child here. I already have one sick person. I can't handle two. But Shouta, if you do this, I'll cover your shifts for a week after Hisashi gets better. Shouta bargained. He was going to regret this. Don't you have enough on your plate already? Nemuri asked, incredulously. Unimportant, Shouta said. Yes or no? Fine, Nemuri said. I think I liked you better when you hated talking on the phone and avoided it like the plague. This is the most you've called me in the 6 or 7 years I've known you. I'll see you soon, Nemuri, Shouta said, hanging up the phone. Child, do you have everything? Shouta asked, walking out of the kitchen and into the living room. Yep, Izuku said. Hair's messy, though, he said, jabbing a finger at his head. It indeed was. It quite resembled a green bird's nest. Shouta glanced at the wall clock. He had time. Bathroom. Drop the bag, he said, walking off to the hall bathroom and standing in front of the sink. There was a mirror above the sink counter, and Shouta hustled him up onto it so it would be easier. Don't yank, Izuku reminded him. I'm aware of your terms and conditions, Shouta replied dryly, spraying the bottled water at the mess of hair. Comb or brush? Brush, Izuku said, grabbing it and handing it to Shouta. Shouta began to quickly brush through sections of hair, making sure to slow down if there were any tangles in his way, as to not hurt the child. You need a haircut, he informed the child, desperately. What's that word mean? Izuku asked, leaning his head forward slightly as Shouta could get the hair from the back. Well, usually it means despair or anguish. You remember those words' meanings, right? Mm-hmm. In this case, it just means you really need a haircut. Understand? Yep, Izuku said, popping the pea. Shouta set down the hairbrush, ran a hand through his hair to make sure it didn't have any more tangles, and helped the child down from the counter. School time. Be quiet when you're going down the halls, Shouta said, once Izuku finally had everything ready, and they were safely out of the apartment. Izuku took off like a rocket towards the car, and they were off. When Izuku arrived at school, Denki appeared to be trying to decipher Hitoshi's handwriting. It wasn't easy. Izuku knew how to read kanji, and even he didn't know what Hitoshi was trying to say half the time. Hi, Denki. Hi, Toshi, Izuku said, sitting down in his usual spot. Hello, Denki said. Hitoshi smiled at him. Where's Ochako and May? Izuku asked. They're always here before us. Denki and Hitoshi shrugged in unison. I don't know, Denki said. Probably traffic? My mama got stuck in this morning. Izuku hummed. My Uncle Hizashi has the flu, Izuku said. So I get to stay over at my auntie's house tonight. That's cool, Denki said, still obviously trying to decipher Hitoshi's handwriting. You talk about your unkies a lot. 'Cause they're awesome. They sound awesome, Denki said. Do you live with them or something? Is that why you got to stay at your auntie's house? Mm-hmm, Izuku said. My Uncle Sho says he doesn't want me to get sick like Uncle Hizashi. Uncle Hizashi has a fever. Denki groaned, his head falling onto the table in front of him. Do you know what this says? He asked Izuku, voice slightly muffled. I feel mean not answering, but I can't read it. It keeps going all wonky. Izuku grabbed the notebook, dragging it towards himself. It says, "The cat got locked in the dishwasher?" Wait, what? Izuku said, looking up at Hitoshi. Hitoshi's face was red. Botan got stuck in a dishwasher? Hitoshi shrugged. Izuku assumed that meant yes. Hitoshi dragged the book back towards himself. "I was washing my papa's scrubs. He tried." "You were washing the scrubs in the dishwasher. Clothes in washing machine." "Oh, well, is the cat okay?" Hitoshi nodded. "Good," Izuku said. "My cat's okay too. She loves cuddling with Takara, and the other day got into a barking contest with the neighbor's dog." "Yeah, barking. Akira can bark. I think it might be one of those animal quirks, like Principal Nezu and UA. Nezu's really smart. Akira can bark." "Cool," Denki said excitedly. "I've always wanted to see an animal with quirks. There are lots of special breeded animals like that in America, but we could never afford one. And I don't think Mommy and Daddy wanted one that much. But they're supposed to be real cool. And one of my classmates had a parrot who could talk." Izuku blinked. "Parrots. Parrots can talk, Denki," Izuku said. "They copy what humans say. That's not a quirk." "Oh," Denki said, visibly deflating. "Still cool, though," Izuku reassured him. "I guess." "What are you reading?" Izuku asked, trying to lift the boy's mood. Denki's face brightened. "Oh, I'm reading this book called The Catcher in the Rye. It's about this paranoid boy, right? And something scary happens to them, and he tries to push people away, but also trying to get close to them. And it's really confusing, but I love it so much. Even though my mama said that I was too young for it, I kind of stole it from the attic, but that's okay. I think because my grandmother always said that any type of book is good for any kid my age, so as long as it isn't naughty, whatever that means. And Denki took a deep breath. "I really like it. It's kind of confusing to follow through because Holdren's a little funny and there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't understand because I'm a little slow with reading stuff, but it's so good. And another deep breath. I can't wait to finish it." Okay," Izuku said. "Well, it sounds really good. Maybe I'll read it someday. If I learn English, or if there's a copy in Japanese." He rubbed the back of his neck, smiling sheepishly. "I can try to teach you," Denki said. "I can try and teach you all. That way, when we're heroes and we need to talk to help someone who only speaks English, we can. And if we're gonna talk about something secret, we can do that too." Denki stopped for a second, looking at Hitoshi apologetically. "And I'll teach you how to write in English too. But I'm not that good at spelling." "That's a great idea," Izuku said. Hitoshi looked somewhat reluctant. "We should wait until Chaco and May get here first, though, so they can learn too. They're gonna be heroes with us too." "Okay," Denki said, agreeing easily. "I'm okay with waiting." Izuku smiled, turned to grab Hitoshi's attention so he wouldn't feel too left out of the conversation, when he heard another student's conversation. "Like they're ever gonna be heroes. My dad says quirkless losers can't be anything." "That's not very not," another boy said, sounding hesitant. "Whatever," the mean boy said. "He's quirkless. Who cares? It's not like we're hurting anyone." "I guess." Izuku had to rub his eyes to stop himself from crying, because he cared what they were saying about him, and it did hurt him. It made his chest ache and his eyes sting and his brain hurt. And he hated that he cared, but he did. Why does everyone have to be so mean? Hitoshi reached over the table and tapped his shoulder, looking concerned. Denki was staring at a wall, lost in thought, like he was daydreaming, and he obviously hadn't noticed what the other kids were saying. But Hitoshi had, because Hitoshi noticed everything. "I'm okay," Izuku said. "Don't worry about me." Hitoshi nodded, though he didn't look entirely convinced, and settled back against his chair. Meng came, barreling in, then dreadlocks waving in the air around her, as she leaped across the table in her seat. Hitoshi and Izuku didn't even flinch, long since used to her shenanigans. Though Denki, barely new and still lost in thought, jumped back so violently he hit the floor with a thump. "Ah!" he shouted, holding his hand. It looked red and raw with carpet burn. "Sorry, Denki," May said, still bouncing in her seat. "She does that a lot," Izuku informed him. "Yeah," Denki said, picking himself up off the floor and climbing back onto his seat. "I saw." Ochako wandered into the room, then, looking tired and a bit frazzled. Her hair was a mess, and she looked a little pale. "You okay, Chaco?" Izuku asked as she sat down. "Okay," Ochako said. "I was late because I had to take the train. The people on it are scary." Hitoshi nodded in agreement. "But your mommy usually takes you," Izuku asked. "Yeah, why didn't your mama drive you?" Denki put in. "My daddy said the damn bank people took the car away, so I have to go on the train for a couple weeks until mommy and daddy find it. I don't like it. The people are scary, and it's noisy and smelly." "Yeah," May agreed. "I had to go on the train once because my mom's car was broken, and it was bad. I need some air fresheners." "My Unky show says you're not supposed to say that word," Izuku said. "What word?" Ochako asked. "Damned. You're not supposed to say it." "You just said it," May said slyly. "Because Ochako asked, but you're not supposed to say it. It's a grown-up word. Only grown-up people can say it. That's the rules." "But why?" Denki asked. "My parents say grown-up words all the time, and they don't get mad at my big brother saying mean words." "He's older, though," Izuku said. "It's a mean word, too, and it can be used to rude people. That's why you're not supposed to say it. And my Uncle Sashi says I'm so cute and, adorable that if I start swearing, it might give people some whiplash." "What's whiplash?" Denki asked, and Izuku shrugged hopelessly. "They say really weird words. I can never understand them." "I don't hear coughing," Shouta said, coming into the bedroom with a tray of soup, the last package of crackers, and a ginger ale. "Nor do I hear complaining. I told you to do normal sick people things." Hizashi shrugged. "I don't have anything to complain about," he said, and his voice sounded scratchy. "You're good at taking care of me when I'm sick. What do I have to bitch about?" "I disagree," Shouta stated. "I'm not good at this. I tried to make chicken broth since you said your stomach was squeezy. I burnt it and ruined a pot. You got deli chicken noodle soup. Enjoy." On the tray was a styrofoam bowl of soup, the label of the nearest deli printed on the side. "How did you burn chicken broth?" Hizashi asked, taking the spoon and stirring up the soup. "You heat it up on a stove and serve it in a bowl. What's burnable about that?" "I burnt cereal once," Shouta informed him. "Don't question my cooking skills." "Sho, babe, sweetheart, light of my life," Hizashi said, dramatically. "No offense, but there aren't any skills to question." "Shush," Shouta said. "I had to deal with the deli over the phone to get the soup, and I burned my hand on the pot. Be grateful." "You just told me to complain," Hizashi pointed out. "Point taken." Shouta frowned. "Eat your soup." Got it, got it," Hizashi said, taking another bite. Shouta pressed the back of his hand against his forehead. "Better," he said. "Do you want more fever pills?" "No, I'm fine. Thanks," Hizashi said, emptying out the bowl. "So, what did you pack Izuku for lunch today? I usually make his lunch before I go to work, but just food." "Uh-huh," Hizashi said. "What kind of food?" "Good food." "Show." "Leftover uni," Shouta admitted. About 8 packets of crackers. Oh my god! I'm never getting sick again. I'm not sure it's an option. Oh, no, I'll make sure it is, Hizashi said. Those germs will come near me, and I'll yell, "Not today," and blast them with a flamethrower, Hizashi informed him. You watch too many movies. Probably. Definitely. Hizashi suddenly went very pale and looked extremely uncomfortable. I think I need a puke. Oh my god. Hizashi ended the day with a low-grade fever and a large bruise on his shoulder from where a bucket was thrown at him. Shouta regretted nothing. Hi, Izuku greeted as he climbed into Auntie Nemuri's car. Auntie Nemuri grunted in response, drinking deeply from a paper cup of coffee. Are you okay? Nope, Auntie Nemuri said. Absolutely not. Your uncle woke me up at 6 a.m. and I was unable to go back to sleep afterwards. I am exhausted. And we're going to McDonald's. I need a nice coffee. Can I have a nice coffee? Izuku asked hopefully. Well, it would make Shota's life more difficult, but... Yeah, no, I'm the one who has to deal with you tonight. Remind me tomorrow. I'll give you a sip of my coffee when I'm driving you back. Okay, can I get a Happy Meal? Well, I'm not just gonna stop at McDonald's to get a coffee and nothing else. Nemuri scoffed. Come on, Tiger, you know me better than that. Izuku grinned, bouncing in place in his seat, smiling as he looked out the window. Burgers and fry? Sure, kid. Yay! They drove through the pace. Nemuri got in an argument with a worker, and Izuku left with a burger and fries Happy Meal, a Sprite, and a dinosaur toy. What's his name? Auntie Nemuri asked as she climbed out of the car. Izuku hummed, in thought. Taco, Izuku decided. Auntie Nemuri shrugged. Good choice as any, I guess. Auntie Nemuri's apartment was nice. It had lots of nice carpets, and throne rugs and big white couches, as well as a large flat screen TV fixed to the wall. Her kitchen was huge, and Izuku made a beeline for it, climbing up onto the counters and digging through the pantry until he came up with a packet of Oreos, which he took back to the living room, where Auntie Nemuri was laying on the couch. Izuku sat, cross-legged next to her feet. Oreo? Izuku asked, and Auntie Nemuri grinned, holding out her hand for one. Izuku handed her one before digging into the packet of cookies himself. Auntie Nemuri turned on a movie once she was done eating her own cookies. Right at 9 o'clock, Auntie Nemuri gave him some of his sleeping medication, and Izuku fell asleep right there on the couch, covered in Oreo crumbs and watching a movie about a talking dog. When he woke up, there was a pillow under his head and a soft blanket wrapped around him. Izuku decided then that he really liked Auntie Nemuri's house. Auntie Nemuri drove him back to his uncle's apartment after school the next day. Uncle Hizashi was on the couch, scrolling through the TV, and looking tired and pale, but very much okay. Uncle Sho was trying to make mint tea in a microwave without somehow burning it, and it showed in the way he fumbled with the buttons. Uncle Hizashi was watching a movie with a robot in it. Unky! Izuku squealed, darting forward and tackling Uncle Hizashi back against the couch. Hey, little listen. Oof! Izuku moved so that he was snuggled up close to his uncle's side, one leg tossed over his lap, and he looked up at him. I've missed you, Izuku said. Are you still sick? I'm doing much better now, Uncle Hizashi said, rubbing a hand through his hair. Your Uncle Sho took care of me, and we got this weird tea thing from the store that's supposed to help, and now I feel fine, okay? Okay, Izuku said, snuggling back into his side. Auntie Nemuri sat on the couch next to them, looking incredibly tired, and Uncle Sho walked into the room holding the tray of tea. Izuku gasped. I know the word, he shouted excitedly. I figured it out. Uncle Sho, I figured out the word. The what? Aneurysm. What? Alright, next chapter is definitely going to be broken up into multiple parts because that chapter is almost, not almost, it is 11K words. 11,000 words. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. But I want to talk about this chapter. I love this chapter. This is one of my favorite chapters because we get the wonderful moment of Hizashi ended the day with a low-grade fever and a large bruise on his shoulder from where a bucket was thrown at him. Shouta regretted nothing. I love that. That is, I remember for a while I had that as a staple in my mind. Like, as I would be going around day-to-day life, all of a sudden, all that, out of nowhere, I'd just be like, Hizashi ended the day with a low-grade fever and a large bruise on his shoulder from where a bucket was thrown at him. Shouta regretted nothing. For like, my friends were annoyed at me, right? Certain friends were annoyed at me, okay? Certain friends wanted me dead, okay? But I was so happy with this fanfiction, and I forgot about that. I forgot about that quote. How could I forget about that quote? I'm so happy. It's been a while since I've done this fanfic. I know, it's been a while, but in my defense, these ones do tend to be longer, and it does take a bit more of my time and energy, but I'm not abandoning it. Do not worry. I love this fanfic. This fanfic is... It's my bookmark. It's one of my bookmarks. I love this fanfic. And I can't wait till we get to the second part of this, because the second part of this, although unfinished, I'm going to be very excited. Because the second part, half of it, it's new to me, because I kind of stopped reading it because I thought to myself, if I never, finish, like, if I never, go to the last chapter and finish reading the last chapters, I'll never finish it, and it will never be unfinished to me. I don't know. Weird logic. Don't question me. Same thing happened for the second part of Mastermind. I haven't even gotten to the first chapter of that one. I think I've gotten through the first chapter, but I haven't gone to the second. And that's probably going to stay that way for a little bit, because I'm scared. I'm probably going to read it. Oh, I have to finish it. I'm probably going to have to finish it, considering that I'm probably going to do, what's it called? A review on it. A fanfic corner, which I'm working on. It's taken some time, especially now that I'm extra busy. I don't have time to just sit and read, and the specific fanfiction that I started on is not Podfic. I might switch it over to do one that I know is Podfic so that it goes by faster and quicker, because the one that I'm doing right now is not Podfic, but the one that I'm doing right now is one of my bookmarks, and I haven't read it in a while, and it's a Dadzawa one. I haven't read it in such a long time that I kind of forgot, apart from like the basic plot, I kind of forgot what it was about. As I'm reading it, it's kind of getting back to me. It's kind of like oh, I remember this kind of, yeah, all right, but it's still so far back that I've read it that it's kind of like I'm experiencing it again, kind of. I love doing that with shows and stuff like that. Like, I go long periods of time of not watching it, and then I rewatch it to experience it all over again. Like, for example, I'm experiencing Someone Better all over again, right? There's obviously, this one is a little more recognizable because, again, this was one of my favorite ones. So, this one, unfortunately, it's not like a whole, oh, I kind of forgot about this. It's like a, there are certain points where it's like, oh, right, I kind of vaguely remember this, but not really. And then there's obviously points where it's like, I very much remember this, and I'm so excited that I got to read this. So there's no psychology corner in this. This is just sick people doing sick things. So yeah, sick people things, exactly. Next chapter, I wonder what next chapter is called. Hold up, I forget what next chapter is called. The next chapter is called Happy Birthday. Oh, okay. And it is... Oh, I'm going to read the summary. I'm going to read the chapter summary. I am ready. Shouta said, I'm going to go to another major mission. That it's not the problem. I don't talk it out. I'm lucky. Shouta stated, I've been doing this for 3 years. Patrols and small missions and things like that. And I've never seen someone die. And I've never had to kill someone. And I don't want that to change. Izuku looks at me like I'm a hero. You kind of are. Yes, but how am I supposed to look back at him if I ended up killing someone for this job? Or if I'm not able to save someone? I could die. Shouta noted. And Izuku would be left all alone. He'd be sent into the system. You don't have guardianship over him. You've probably never see him again, and... Shouta, Hizashi said, cutting through his nervous rambling. Shouta gripped his elbows. I'll be fine, alright? Everything's gonna be fine. You'll see. Oh, I don't think that's Shouta talking. I think that's Hizashi talking. I'm gonna say that as Hizashi. It'll be fine, alright? Everything's gonna be fine. You'll see. Don't stress yourself over this. You have to be on your A game. Everything's gonna be fine. It's just a drug ring. Everything will be fine. Oh, and how was he wrong? Oh shit, this is that chapter! Oh shit! Oh shit! I know what's gonna happen. Y'all don't know what's gonna happen. Oh shit, it's that chapter. Oh shit. Guys, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna break this up into... Oh, I'm so sorry because I'm gonna choose the horrible times to break it up too. Oh, that's why this chapter is so long. Oh shit. Okay, anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.